Okay friends, it has been a wild past 2 months with tons of offshore sailing to get south for hurricane season, and then dealing with a record-breaking category 4 hurricane as soon as we get to Grenada. But all those things are past us. We're back in one of our favorite places and super excited. My parents are coming tomorrow. They never got to come when we were here last, so we're excited to show them all of our favorite things here. You know we don't like to bring you along when we have family here, but we'll try to show you little bits and pieces for their adventure. Woo! But first we got to start putting all of the stuff back before they get here, so that's today's goal. And another thing, we're caught up pretty much full time in videos, so if you have anything in particular you want to see while we're here for the next few months for hurricane season, let us know. We're excited to make some new stuff and bring you along with us. So let's go put everything away.
Trying to get the boat put back together, get all the sails back up, everything we took down and put away for barrel. We're getting back up and back in place. We got the jib out here. We'll get that on at some point, maybe not right now because we have a little bit of a breeze, just easier to do with no breeze. We have the boards back in their rack. We're gonna put the bowsprit on right now, and then we will probably get the screecher on as well. And then that way we'll be able to get the anchor back in its spot where it lives, the spare anchor rather. Let's get this bowsprit on to start. The spinnaker halyard is this white line here. And then the spinnaker tack line is this blue line. These things are rusty. I don't see any cracks or anything. I gotta polish those up. So this is what holds the head of the spinnaker, and this is what holds the tack of the spinnaker on the end of the bowsprit. So we'll use these to hold the end of the bowsprit out as we get them up. Sierra, can you give me a hand? So the bowsprit just slides right into here, and it's held in place by this pin. So we have this pin in here, stainless steel pin. Can you just hold these so they don't smash around? Let me get this out. Tighten up the tack line more. All right, that's good. Slowly release that tack line. Very slow, like half an inch at a time. As soon as it gets to the right angle, it should just slide in. Stop there, that's it, yep. Starting to slide. The wind's pushing it though. Ow, there it is. All right, sliding in. We just need this hole to line up with this. Right in there. Pin in place. Yep. And you could tighten this back up and then tighten up that white spinnaker halyard. Then we just put this here. Alright, bowsprit's on. Now we gotta get the screecher.
Today's video is sponsored by Boat Setter. If you love boating but don't want to deal with the stresses that come with owning a boat, for example, maintenance, cleaning, wear and tear, and the most stressful of all, what to do if a hurricane's coming your way, then check out Boat Setter. Boat Setter gives you all the joys of boat ownership with none of the hassle, stresses, or worries. Unlike boat clubs, there's no sign-up fees or membership dues, just unlimited access to boats. Explore thousands of boat styles and various makes and models. If you're in the market to buy a boat, it's a great way to try before you buy. If you have no desire to own your own vessel but love to get out on the water, using Boat Setter is a great way to enjoy the day and then leave the stresses of boat ownership at the dock when you return the boat. Or if you're like us and own a boat but like to travel to other places, but a vacation is not a vacation without a boat day, then Boat Setter is perfect for you too. Whether it's a sail in San Francisco Bay, a day-long fishing excursion in South Florida, or a week-long island-hopping charter in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, Boat Setter offers unique on-the-water experiences for everyone and every budget. With close to 250,000 reviews and a 4.95 star rating, we're confident you will have a great time on the water with Boat Setter. Click the link in the description and use code TULA5 for 5% off your first booking. Thanks for watching!
So here's the furling drum for the screecher. put the jib on probably tomorrow, another day, when there are slightly less wind, just to make it really easy for us. So it's not flopping around all over the place. Gotta get some energy out. So, I'm going to play.
With my parents in town for only a few days, we had our itinerary packed full. Our first stop is the world-famous underwater sculpture park. This stop is so special that Nat Geo once listed it as one of the wonders of the world. Just below the surface, there are 75 to 80 sculptures created by the world-renowned artist Jason Taylor. The sculptures double as artificial reefs to bring art, culture, and environment together as one. It's one of our favorite places to bring guests to because it's like an underwater treasure hunt trying to find them all. Some of the sculptures are figures from Grenadian folklore and books, others represent moments in history or world issues, and some were even cast from local Grenadians celebrating Carnival. We have never been the sort of family to go in museums or art galleries, but put one underwater and we will spend hours appreciating them and then have fun looking up their meaning after. 5 years ago, we were anchored almost in this exact spot when we put our initial deposit down on Lori Sue. We had a dream of getting a boat that would be comfortable enough that family and friends would want to come visit and be able to stay with us instead of having to try to find a hotel that we could anchor close to, and hope and pray that the room and the neighborhood was as clean as the website made it look. Traveling and living on a boat is so special because we can see so much more of a place. We get to experience different harbors and neighborhoods, meet new people, try new foods, and in general, I feel like we get to immerse ourselves so much more in a place and its culture than if we were just staying in a hotel. And that is exactly what we want to be able to share with our family, friends, and you, of course. So having my family down here in Grenada, staying on Lori Sue, feels like a full circle moment. And Grenada in particular is perfect for anchorage hopping because there are so many protected bays, all with their own unique things to do, events to attend, and restaurants to enjoy. Prickly Bay is one of our favorite anchorages because we can paddle to the surf from the boat and there's a beautiful reef to snorkel. We have spent a good amount of time in Grenada in the past and like to think we know a lot of the must-dos, but my dad did his research before they came and found some must-dos we had never heard of. This is Dodgy Docks Street Food Night, where local vendors all come together and you can try lots of different foods all in one spot. They also have bands and it's an all-around good time. This is for sure going to be one of the highlights of the trip. It's also just a 5-minute dinghy ride from our anchorage in Prickly Bay, so it may even turn into a weekly affair. Good find, Dad.
Kenny, the mascot of the Lori Sue.
As much as we love the water surrounding Grenada, we are most excited to bring them inland and show them all the things that us flatland Florida folk are not used to, like the national forest with its picturesque views, the lake that's in the crater of an extinct volcano, and of course, the monkeys.
Guys, I don't know about this. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, buddy. Oh, look at you. You guys ready? Oh, Oh, that a boy.
And a proper tour of the island wouldn't be complete without lunch at Belma, a taste of chocolate from the chocolate factory, and a shot of rum from the distillery. And we saved the best for last. Well, at least what we thought was going to be the best. Royal Mount Carmel Waterfall is, or at least was, our favorite waterfall on Grenada. And not for the waterfall in particular. I mean, yes, it's gorgeous, no doubt, but we love going down the slides and jumping into the pools. It has been a hit with every guest we had come when we were here last, and we have slid down so many times. We thought it would be so much fun for my parents to enjoy too. It was the perfect, refreshing way to end our adventure day around the island. At least, until this moment.
Oh, right on my ass.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
On a rock?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Don't go!
Oh.
Uh-oh. And instead of hiking the other waterfalls we picked out on their last day, we ended up at a Grenadian hospital hanging out with the fish in the fish tank, where we found out my dad did in fact fracture 2 vertebrae. It was all very scary, but we are so fortunate that it was not worse and he can walk. They were able to give him a shot of pain meds at the hospital to help with the long travel day ahead, and I had already had a ticket booked home with them to attend my grandma's funeral, so I was able to help my mom with all the heavy lifting. He has been proudly wearing his old dog's rule shirt while getting used to his new hardware, while trying to make light of a very scary situation.
Damn waterfall. While Sierra is spending some time with her family in Florida, I'm in charge of taking care of Jetty, the boat, and keeping myself out of trouble. Alright guys, we got another super windy day in Grenada. We're on the south coast, and this area is perfect for, well, it's perfect for sailing. It's perfect for downwinding. For those of you guys who don't know, downwinding is when you're just like going with the wind, and you can do that in a sailboat like we do. That's the best sailing, is kind of going downwind or broad reaching or whatever. But you can also do it on a stand-up paddleboard. We used to do it on our race boards, and you're able to kind of paddle fast enough to catch the wind chop and actually surf the wind chop over and over downwind, going downwind. People do it on kayaks and surf skis and all sorts of stuff, but we've been doing it foiling, and it is incredible. One of the obstacles in downwinding is either getting back to your original destination, or you could get upwind first somehow. What we've been doing is winging upwind. So I'll set up my wing, I'll have my board and foil, it'll be my downwind, stand-up paddle downwind foil board, and then I'll bungee my paddle to the wing handles, and then I can wing upwind as far as I want, and then I'll bring a backpack with me too. The Mantis backpack works incredible for this. When I get to my upwind location, I just sit down on my board, I deflate the wing, fold it and roll it all up, stuff it in the backpack, put the backpack on, take my paddle, and then I use the paddle to catch waves and then get up on foil, and then I can just surf from wave to wave to wave to wave, foiling. The most challenging part about that is just kind of working your way, tacking upwind with the wing. It's a little bit of workout on your forearms holding the wing, and it just takes a while, but it's fun. You see some cool things, good workout, good practice winging. All of this takes like quite a bit of experience. People always ask me like, how hard is it to learn winging or foiling? And the simple answer is like, it is kind of hard to learn. It just takes a lot of time on the water, but almost anyone can do it. Like if you have any sort of decent balance and any sort of like basic strength, you don't have to be super strong even to hold the wing. You gotta have like a base level of strength and balance, and if you do that and you put in the time on the water with the decent equipment, you could learn it. Like guys, there's a lot of guys, even guys around here who are winging, they look like they're in their 60s or 70s. Certainly I've seen guys in their 70s winging, and it's so fun. And it is the best water sport to do off a boat, besides like maybe stand-up paddleboarding or something, but this is a little more exciting. So it's way easier to do off a boat than kiteboarding, because you don't have to run lines and like launch the kite, and then if you do have to like self-rescue, the wind dies or something like that, you just lay on this big board and just paddle back to the boat. Rather than a kiteboard, you usually have this little tiny board and can't do that, and just self-rescuing is a little bit trickier. Still possible, but a little bit trickier. Because downwinding, riding waves, being out in rough water, tacking upwind as quick and efficient as you can is a little bit more on the intermediate to advanced side of things. It takes a lot of time to be able to do it proficiently, and it's always nice to have a partner to do this stuff with. But luckily I found this guy, Dan, who's on a boat right by us, and he's proficient. He's really good at this stuff, so we've been doing some downwinders together. So we're going to get out there today. Perfect day for it. Nice swell out there and solid wind, 15 to 20 knots. We'll work our way upwind. Hopefully we'll get like at least like 4 miles upwind. We've only been doing like a mile or 2. But hopefully today we can get a little bit further, and then we'll send it downwind. And I'll show you some of the obstacles in the way. I already have my foil and board set up from yesterday. Just gotta blow up my wing. Here's the Mantis backpack I use for it, and it's got this big old drain plug at the bottom, so that when you bunch the whole thing up, look, push all the air out. When you crumple the wing up or fold the wing up out in the water, and it's full of water, and you stuff it in here, at least as much water as possible can just drain out the bottom when I'm up on foil. So that's nice. Yeah, this is perfect. Get some water and sunblock. And I think we're ready to go. Dan's already blowing up his wing. If you guys are looking for reef safe, skin safe, reef safe sunblock, zinc is the ingredient in here. It's raw elements. We always have a code in our description because they're like our affiliate partners. But this is the only stuff I use, especially on my face. It stays on pretty good. It doesn't rub in all the way though, but it's kind of the point of these reefs. Zinc-based sunblocks. The first challenge of making our way upwind is tacking out of the cut we're anchored in. So first we have to navigate in the slightly deeper water of the dinghy channel. Then when we're far enough, we have to cut out over some shallow reef. It's critical to stay on foil here and to stay high on foil, keeping it close to the water's surface and away from the hard, sharp reef. If we ride too low in the water, then we will hit the reef, damaging it as well as our expensive carbon foils. But if the foil comes too high and breaches the surface of the water, then we'll lose all lift and it'll come crashing down onto the shallow reef.
Alright, the hardest part's over.
Once we are out of the dinghy channel and past the shallow reef, we have to try our best to stay out of the wind shadow created by the surrounding tall land. It's a very small wind shadow, but we have to ride really close to it, and we both actually get stuck in it for a minute or two. Once we are out of the wind shadow and back on foil, we start riding out of the next bay, staying in a bigger channel this time and avoiding the reefs around us. As we make our way out of the bay, we get into some bigger, choppier swell and into the open water. One of the challenges with foiling is seaweed. In this area we get a lot of sargassum weed sometimes, and it gets snagged on the foil or mast pretty easy. If I get just a little tiny piece stuck on my foil, then I can feel it and it slows me down a little, but it's really not a big deal.
But if I get a big or even a medium piece stuck, then it becomes very challenging to even stay on foil. So a lot of the times I'll come off foil, bring my board down to the water, and sink it backwards for a second, then get going again, and that usually clears the weed. And sometimes I just fall. And that clears it too. We tack up wind for another 20 to 30 minutes in open water, and I actually have a very slow air leak in my wing. So after about 30 minutes, my wing gets too soft to be able to tack up wind anymore. And that's our sign that it was time to turn around.
Did you see the two like deadheads in the water? I think they were wood pilings. You fell over here and they were like just in from you. It was two like massive. I think they were wood pilings.
Yeah, I think she's fucking.
Yeah, doesn't that trash freak you out? Like, did you see some white glowing thing under there?
At that time, we get a lot of sunfish.
Sunfish, yeah.
Like this big.
The mola fish.
So I sit down on my board, I deflate my wing, disconnect my paddle, and stuff the wing in my backpack. And now the hard part starts. I'll save you the nausea of me trying to paddle for this ocean chop, and I'll let you trust me that it took quite a while to catch a wave and get going on foil this day. This is probably the hardest part of downwind stand-up paddle foiling, and having a heavy wet wing on my back doesn't make it any easier. But I finally catch a wave and get on foil. The feeling of riding on foil is like flying on a magic carpet. It's smooth and it's fast. You don't feel any of the chop, and you barely hear any water noise or even wind noise because you're generally going similar speed as the wind, so there's basically no apparent wind. The bumps this day are relatively small, so I have to work hard pumping in between bumps to keep my speed up and stay on foil. But when I find the next bump, I can just relax and glide.
There we go.
Connecting these bumps while staying on foil is another big challenge, and the more skilled you are, the more you can read the water and connect the bumps without wasting a ton of energy pumping. The longer you can stay on foil, glide, and connect the bumps, the more rewarding it all is, especially after all the time and energy spent learning and practicing. I think this is why this sport is so addicting, because similar to sailing, you can always learn, tweak, improve, and get better. And the better you get, the more rewarding it all is.
What's that? Yeah! Whoa, almost got pushed off. Come on, get on top. Dan's way there. I'm so tired. Dan's right over there. Dan's so nice. He like wings by me, kind of sticks with me until I get up. And then I think I go a little bit faster downwind, especially when the wind is a little bit light, because when Dan catches a wave with the wing and goes downwind, you kind of run into the wing a little bit because your apparent wind shifts forward instead of the true wind, which is right behind you, just because we're going so fast on the wave. So for me, that doesn't really matter because I don't have a wing. Nothing's pushing against me when my apparent wind shifts forward. But for him, he runs into the wing, makes it challenging. When it's super windy, it doesn't matter because you're generally not going like faster than 20 knots on the board. So if the wind is like over 20 knots, the wind always kind of just holds the wing out in front of you. But either way, like stand-up paddle foiling, you don't have that problem at all. That was a little bit of a tougher run for me today. I think because the wind was slightly light, there was still a nice big swell out there. So like the longer the period swell and the bigger it gets, the faster they move. And with like this size board, it's easier to catch like smaller swell, but shorter interval and steeper. So that's what the wind creates. And you can have both. Both is ideal. So you can have like a 2-foot short period chop, and it's really easy to get up on foil on that, especially on the face of a bigger wave. And once you're on foil, you can catch those bigger waves, no problem. He's probably gonna ride in. There's a shallow reef right there, and over there, he'll probably come around and in between so that he doesn't get in the wind shadow of this big island behind me. I'm gonna actually paddle towards that island. Our boat's right there. So I'll paddle towards the island so I have less wind to paddle into. Maybe I'll even be able to catch one more of these bumps, but I'm pretty tired. Whew, fun run, really fun run. Got it going fast. Yeah. Fun, huh? Hello. Good girl, good girl. miss me? Did you miss me?